What's up? What's up? You already know what it is. It's me, ThaBoy, here today with our very first interview, kicking off season 2 with an amazing artist, with an amazing talent, Miss Amy Russ.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
Hey, thank you for being here. Now, I've heard, and I've seen that you have just had an amazing time at Southern Lights, right? Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Yeah?
It still has not sank in.
Yep.
I will tell anybody, I'm the queen of almost. Like, I almost got on the stage at X Factor, almost made it through American Idol, queen of almost. So to be on the stage and win, I was like, this is not happening.
Right. And for those who don't know, at home, Miss Amy Russ was the winner of 2022 Southern Lights.
That's sweet.
How does it feel? So how was the feeling since you've won?
I have, it's indescribable to have a group of people who are amazing. Everybody connected to the competition is just amazing.
Yes.
To believe in me and give me this opportunity to further my career. It's the feeling it's so hard to describe it. Every time I think about it, I'm not going to cry this time. I'm not going to do it, but it makes me want to cry. Just having that faith. It's incredible.
I can only imagine. And congratulations, that is an accomplishment. And to do that, amongst that, there was some talent. There was so much talent in the building, correct?
Insane.
Insane, honestly.
The level of talent. Everybody brought their A game.
Everybody did.
Which is why I was just like, well, it's an honor to be nominated. I'm just glad to be here.
So, how did you find out about Southern Lights?
I was actually watching YouTube. It's crazy.
A YouTube ad.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So yes, YouTube advertising, very effective. I was watching one of my favorite YouTube people, and a commercial comes on, and I usually click through the commercials. I won't lie, but something like Charlie popped up and he was smiling. I was like, oh. And then he starts talking about a competition. I was like, what? Oh, this is probably 3, 4, 5 states over. I can't do this. And then when I heard that it was really close by, I was like, oh, is this a sign? Should I do this? And I was like, okay, great. Yeah, I'll do it. What's the harm? So
what's the harm? That's honestly what I told everybody. What's it going to hurt? Enter. You never know what could come of this. And look at you. You are a prime example of you honest to God. You never know what could come out of something as simple as a YouTube ad. Now, how did you decide what video you wanted to enter the competition with? What song?
I usually, and this is not the best way to do this at all, but I will usually go with a song that is repeating in my head. And Maren Morris was just like, what? She was like on repeat. And she's a phenomenal singer, phenomenal songwriter.
Yes.
And her song, My Church,
Yep.
that's the song I wish I would have wrote. It's like she took my heart and put it to paper. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that one. I've been listening to it for a week straight now. Maybe if I sing it, it'll stop playing in my head.
Well, look where it got you. Now, from day 1 to day 2, you performed Friday and Saturday, correct?
Fridays,
or was
Thursday, Friday,
okay.
Saturday. Was it Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yes, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, day 1, Thursday. How did you work through the nerves?
Thursday, I will not lie. Thursday was hard, which is why I knew it was going to be hard because I'm like, the first time I step out on stage, it's always just straight jitters. I don't care how long I've been doing this. Just straight jitters. So I was like, you know what? Use that to your advantage. Pick a song where the jitters will work.
Yes.
Now, the best part about it is rehearsal was perfect. It was very true to the live shows. So I felt very comfortable with that. And Charlie's awesome. He just makes everybody feel comfortable once you step on stage. So that really helped take the nerves away. But the song, I was just like, I'm just going to move. I'm just going to work through the nerves and just smile. Just sing and smile. That was
Sing and smile.
Sing and smile. And that's all that's going through my head. And have fun. And that's what I aim to do. And Thursday was really fun.
I bet it was fun, but I can only imagine the nerves. that because when I entered, my nerves was now. I could only imagine the nerves. Friday, what Saturday, not Friday. Let's skip Friday. Go to Saturday. Saturday. How was that? When you heard your name called, how was that?
I was so busy praying that my name would get called that I almost missed it being called.
Really? So
like,
it was kind of like it was kind of like this. Oh wait, that's me, Mom.
a little bit. And the feeling of knowing that all of your hard work in one moment paid off. It was a flood of emotions, and they all came out of my eyes because I'm a crier.
Yeah.
And it was an insanely beautiful, surreal moment. And I encourage anyone, no matter what your fears are about the competition, don't hold yourself back. Everyone deserves to have that kind of moment. I highly recommend it.
They really do. They really do. And coming from someone like you who went through Thursday, who went through Friday, and come out the winner on Saturday, that's good for them to hear. And I would please recommend anybody to next year enter Southern Lights. You never know what could come out of it. Now, before we get off of Southern Lights, I do want to touch up on hear out how has it been since you've won, the compliments, the congratulations. I mean, was you like on cloud nine or what?
I compliments make me like awkward. Like
Yeah.
I just start to morph into like this tiny ball. But it's all been just an outpouring of love and support. And it's crazy how many people I have in my life who just really do wish me well.
Yeah.
And I realized that, like, because I was posting a lot on Facebook as the competition kind of unfolded, and everybody was on this journey with me. They were like, "You can do it! Thursday's done. Did you make it to Friday?" And it was crazy. Sorry, I have something in my eye.
Oh, you're okay.
But yeah, it just an outpouring of love and support. And since then, it has not stopped. Like, people really want to see me take this opportunity to the next level, and I'm not going to let them down. Like, I am determined to not let everyone down and really just make the most of this momentum.
That is great. And I am I know that we haven't known each other a long time, but I'm proud of you because it takes courage, not only to just get up on that stage, but it takes a lot of courage to enter, right? You're putting yourself out there to the world, so it takes courage for that. It takes courageous people, and that is what I admire about artists, the courage that is within them. Now, Amy Russ did not get to the singing overnight. Where did this come from?
Well, I would say my passion for music definitely came from my mom and my dad. My dad is a drummer, and he is a DJ, and he is an artist. Like, there's really, it's so crazy. There's nothing my dad can't do. And my mom has always really loved music, and there's always like music in our house growing up. So I have always known that I've wanted to sing and just would not stop singing when I was little. My mom actually got called to the school when I was in first grade.
No way.
I still love this teacher to death, Miss Gillis. She's like, we really enjoy her. She's so good, but she just won't stop singing in class. And it was all homemade songs. Like, I'd be at the pencil sharpener, sharpening my pencil.
Yeah,
like,
so
it's
you're just
crazy.
Every word that come out of your mouth.
So it's from the very beginning. I would say about middle school is where I picked up like a seriousness for it, because it's all fun, and my mom has always kept it fun throughout my whole life, but I feel like I really started in middle school pushing myself to like, okay, we're gonna do this. And then especially when to go back a little bit, in like around elementary school transitioning into middle school, I saw a video that changed my life. Reba McEntire. I'll set the scene. I'm at my granny's house. This is the first time I've had control over the TV all day long, so I'm super excited. I turn to TNN, and Reba McEntire in all her glory comes on the TV, And the song is Till You Love Me. She is wearing a beautiful sequin gown. And the way that she moves across that stage, it was I'm like, is she floating? Like,
Yeah.
I just kept staring at her and the video, just like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. And that really is what kicked off like me being extremely passionate, extremely serious, and knowing that, this is destiny. This is what I'm meant to do.
Incredible. So you're a huge Reba McEntire fan, obviously.
The biggest. Like, if there was one person that I have to sing with before I leave this earth, before I go to glory, it has to be Reba McEntire.
It has to be her. Would you be like the one to would it be you just were so excited you couldn't say nothing, or would you just wrap her up with the biggest hug?
I would cry. I would hug her. I would cry again. And then I'd be like, please sing with me.
Please sing with
In
me.
that order.
Miss Reba McEntire. So she has your heart, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. What would you do right now? Let's go record a song right this instant.
I would pack everything and be where she tells me to, with no questions.
What?
Yes, and.
Yeah, okay. What vibe do you feel an Amy Russ and Reba McEntire song being?
Ooh, that's a good one.
If you had a song to go off of hers, what more road would you like to take?
I would like to do something close to like the Miranda Lambert, Carrie Underwood kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more of a upbeat, maybe.
Oh, definitely.
More of an upbeat. Okay. Okay. I love upbeat.
But theatrical, like Why Haven't I Heard From You? Yeah, a little bit old school, a little bit of new school. Mix it up. I think it would be great.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Hey, I'm gonna wish and hope one day you get your dream of that. Would be awesome. That would be awesome. I can only imagine the song. The studio speakers would blow. Could you imagine that?
I imagine it all the time.
There you go. Keep doing it. Manifest until it happens.
That's true.
There
My
you
mom,
go.
my mama always says, "Speak it into existence." So,
Yes. Now, touching back on, you said that your father was a drummer. Your father was a DJ. Did that play a specific role in you getting started with the music? Now, I know you said that your family had a little bit of background, but did your father's role play a specific role in you taking the route that you did?
and here's where I'm gonna get a little vulnerable with you. I wish I could say it did have like a huge part. And don't get me wrong, I adore my dad, but we never really had a super close relationship. But everything, when I did get time with him, I could just see how passionate he was, and that rubbed off. So yes, I guess the answer would be yes, it did in a big way. His passion for things served kind of as an example to really just chase after it wholeheartedly. And as much as he did do, I always wanted to see him just take it to the limit. And that's what I'm determined to do now. Because I won't say that he didn't, but I just know, like, and maybe this is just me being like, I love my dad, but he could just, so much talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going to let anything or anyone stand in my way. I'm going to take the example that he has given me and just, really take it to that next level.
I hear a lot and I see a lot in myself and in other artists where you had just said earlier that you were not going to let anything or anybody. The biggest one to me is the anybody. And I see it within myself for sure, and I allow people to get in my head. Do you let what people say and what people think, affect your next move? Not really affect your next move, but does it ever affect your next move?
Grain of salt. You have to take people's thoughts and opinions with a grain of salt, because if you let it shift your course, it'll just it'll leave you with question marks all over your life. I am a Black female who sings country music. And country music has always had my heart since I was really little. And no one really understood that. Like, it was always like, huh? But thankfully, the people who were close to me and, just loved and adored me, they respected it. So I don't ask anyone to get it, but as long as if they're going to be in my life, they have to respect it. And, that's what you have to do as an artist. You demand respect. Like, you can have your thoughts, you can have your opinions, but I'm going to keep that stuff way over there. As long as you respect it, it's all good.
I'm glad that I touched on this because I'm sitting here like, wow, I wish I could be like that. And I'm working to be like that. Have you always been so like straightforward? Or did it take something to get you to that point? Or has that always been Amy? Like, you know what, no matter what nobody says, there it is. This is what they got to say. I'll keep it. Yes, I'll keep it in the back of my head, but it's over here. But me moving for greatness is the other direction. Have you always been like that?
I won't say that I've always been like that. As a little kid, there were moments of tears, but then I am my mother's child, and I am stubborn to the very core of me. And every time there was somebody who had a snide comment, I doubled down. I was like, okay, you're going to talk that way? Fine. I'm going to show you better than I can tell you.
Exactly.
And that sassy from birth. So that's just it. And over time, it's like affirmations. You speak it. Once you start speaking it, you believe it. And once you start believing it, things like people's opinions roll right off you.
Yeah. Well, I'm one that I truly believe that somebody's artistry should not be the judgment of their everyday person, if that makes sense. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So I feel like what I do as an artist, there's certain things that I have to do as an artist, that I have to do as an entertainer that I might not would do, during my everyday. So do you find it difficult to separate your artistry from your everyday person? Or does it interfere ever?
Not yet. And here's the thing that I completely get what you're saying. So I have a song, Searching for Love. And the very last lyrics of that particular song is basically about a woman she states, you can't lay claim to a taken man. And that situation, of course, is not something that I've lived, but I like to take stories from everybody around me as well as my own and kind of mesh them together. Now, from an outsider looking in, you're like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
she has been through some things. But I'm like, that's not me. That's
exactly.
But as an artist, letting people in just enough to let them see this is me, that's not me. You can keep it separate and it work in your favor if you're closed off as an artist and sunglasses and wigs. People aren't going to know you, and so they're going to assume a lot about you. I like to keep kind of a semi open door policy. I do like to kind of have privacy, but I like to let people in so that in those moments where they're like, oh goodness, what is this song about? They don't automatically start assuming the wrong things.
Right. I definitely get what you said, and I love how you put it. Myself, I do, as an artist, you're not always going to write about the same thing. There's sometimes that you're going to have to put yourself in other people's shoes. And I just wish that even myself could be like you, because I get to where, like, I don't want to drop this because, I have an old lady, but in the song it talks about, going through a breakup and da 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 da. And then you just know that some people are just not gonna get it. They're just not.
Right.
So it takes a lot of people seeing the vision, and I don't know. I struggle with that. So I give you props there. I'm working towards that. So that is a good thing to have, and I'm going to take notes on that. Now, you are currently, I heard earlier, working on releasing an album maybe soon, kind of
Yes.
soon.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm being a bit adventurous with the extremely generous cash prize, and I can't thank Southern Lights enough. I have been afforded the opportunity to build an in-home studio.
No way.
Yes.
How is that?
It's crazy. There's so much that goes into it, and
Yeah.
it's a huge learning curve. I've done some things in like GarageBand and a few other of those systems, but nothing to this level. And so I am going to challenge myself and push myself to learn everything I can about the equipment, the new fun toys that I have, and I'm going to put out the best album ever. I'm determined.
There you go.
I don't know if I want to do a full album or if I want to do another
EP.
4-song EP. Yes. Ooh, EP is kind of my sweet spot. I've already done one, so I'm like, that sounds fun. Maybe I'll do that again.
I'm glad that you said that, because like a lot of times I say EP and people are like, huh? Like, what's an EP? Yeah, that's an album. So, I hear a lot of times, because technically I would say 8 songs would be an EP. What would you say 8 songs would be?
Now, 8 songs for me would be an album. That's so crazy.
Really?
For me, 3 to 4 songs would be an EP.
Okay,
Because it's just like, I like to think of an EP as a sneak peek to a larger bank of songs. So like if I do a sneak peek little EP, then I'm going to do, when I do the full album, it'll be 8 to 12.
Okay. See, well, I guess where I've always went off of time. So if my project is under 30 minutes or 28 minutes, it's an EP. If my project is over 30 minutes, it's an album. So I call a project an album or an EP, but off of that. So would you prefer to go the EP route?
And here's why instant gratification is my thing. So I like to, if I have the songs and the songs written and the ideas kind of mapped out, I want to record it, I want to mix it, I want to master it, and I want to put it out there for people to have and to hear and listen to as quickly as possible. So at this time around, I have to force myself to really stop, think, process map, like, how are we going to do this? What makes the most sense? Yeah. What do I want to say this EP? Like, I have the opportunity to really sink into it and do it on my own time. No one's pressuring me to finish but me. So I definitely want to utilize the time that I have and really do it right. But yeah, I would definitely do an EP first and just like bang, bang, boom.
Yeah, get it out there. When you seem pretty headstrong, and you seem I heard you're a perfectionist. Do you think that that's going to play a role with you doing it yourself? Do you think that it's maybe going to take a little longer than expected because you lay this down and I just don't sound right, so I got to redo it? Do you think that's going to be a case?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm a big perfectionist, especially when it's something that I'm super passionate about.
You have to be.
You have to be. And I guess like the biggest challenge this time around with me doing it myself is to really get out of my head. Because what's crazy is like when there are imperfections in a song or a video or whatever, like I love it as a listener. I love it. I live for those. So why on earth I have to feel the need to be perfect is beyond me. But that's going to be my real challenge to myself, is to not let perfectionism, if that's not a word, ruin this opportunity and just really be present.
Yeah. I love the at home. Now, to clear this up, and to those who's watching, to clear this up to everybody. Now, are you going to be recording and mixing yourself, or how are you playing this role? Like,
until I get the mixing and the mastering down perfectly, where I feel that I'm putting out a product that is, worthy of everyone's time and attention, I am going to lay down the bones of it and do all of kind of the grunt work, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the main.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm going to then send it to trusted professionals and let them kind of help guide it over the finish line.
Okay, awesome. So I like the at-home way, especially the route that you're taking. So you're not fully doing it. You're not going to do the complete thing yourself, but you're going to get the basics done yourself until you get to that point to where you're comfortable. But until then, you're saving yourself money.
That's so true.
A lot of artists, a new artist. So you've been in the game for a minute. You are an artist that could tell artists watching this, like, this is a game where money has to be.
Oh,
This is money.
Oh, yeah. And the worst part for me is the money. I'm not a money person. I am an ideas person. I am a, lyrics person, but I am not a money person. So it took discipline to really stop and be like, okay, where are my dollars and cents going? Am I using them wisely?
Right.
How can I get the most bang for my buck? It's all about quality, but money don't grow on trees.
No, it does not. No, it does not. And I like what you just said. It's all about what'd you just say? Bang for your buck.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I love that.
It's all about quality, but and I know, like, when we were chatting, before, we kind of touched on the getting in the studio and wanting to really be in the studio and be in that moment. But what you got to understand is all of that, think of it as a meter in a cab. And as soon as you get in that cab and the door closes, that meter is going.
Yes.
Yes. But with a studio, it's going backwards and winding down because you pay for that up front. So you're going, once it hits zero, boop, you either need to come out of the pocket or, you
got what you got.
You got what you got. That's it. So making sure that element of it this time around for me with this EP was taken completely out. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to worry about it. It's going to really, I would put money on the fact that you're going to hear a difference in the music because there's just going to be a completely different vibe, a different setting.
Yeah. And it's not new to you, but you're doing it yourself. In the situation and the circumstances that you're in is new to you. The recording equipment, right? That's going to be new. So I feel like that is going to be a great process for you. And I love how you're actually like, no, I don't even want to see the studio. I don't even want to hear about the studio because I'm the type that I don't want to deal with that at home. I want to go to the studio. But then again, it opens my eyes to where, like what you just said, you have to choose what you spend your money on wisely as an artist. And I see a lot of, and I want to know your opinion on, is now say we're just going to use artist A as an example. Artist A. All right, they're an artist just now starting out. Now, would you prefer that artist to go, would you recommend that artist to go to a professional studio, pay the thousands of dollars to, for their first song, or would you prefer them to go to a more laid-back environment, get a better feel of what you're doing to prepare you for that moment? Would you rather them just to drop that bag that first go-around, or to kind of, hey, before you drop that bag and you're not knowing what you're doing, go here. No, it's not as advanced, but this is going to be baby steps to get you to there.
Always there. And
Always
here's why.
there.
The first time that I went into a studio, and
I love hearing stories like this because I got crazy with it.
And Daniel, please forgive me for saying this. Like, Daniel, he's a producer in California. Amazing.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
A producer in California?
Yes.
Connections?
That's
crazy.
Yeah. I lived in California for 11 years.
Wow.
And that's where backtrack a little bit. So after high school, I joined a nonprofit organization, which took me all the way to California.
Bless
It took me a lot of other places too, England, Ireland, Scotland. So I toured and I was teaching, and it was amazing. It was a group called the Young Americans. Best experience of my life, hands down. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I need to write. I need to record. I was basically touring, teaching, going around the world, collecting all of these stories, all of these experiences. And I was like, I need to stop and I need to put it on paper. So fast forward, I think it was a Craigslist ad, I'm pretty sure. And it was for Daniel for his studio. Now, this is like Studio One, very beginning. And it was kind of like in a strip mall kind of setting.
Yeah.
There was no sign on the door. It was just kind of like a glass door that was covered. And I'm on the phone to my best friend. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Oh my!
This is crazy. There's, I don't even know if this is the right door. Like, should I knock? She's like, I don't know. Do you feel safe? I was like,
No. It don't even look like a studio.
But he came out and I saw that he was not an axe murderer.
Yeah.
And it was great. But, yeah, that experience, best experience ever. Laying down vocals in that studio, I will never forget it, because it was like we were figuring that out at the same time.
Yeah.
He was getting up and taking the ball and running and, you know, really like investing in himself. And then I was doing the same thing just by being in the studio. So there was an energy.
Two hungry, driven
Yes.
people.
You could feel it. There was an energy, and I will forever be grateful for that moment. So if it comes down to, you know, option one, where it's big production, fancy studio out the gate, or, you know, the garage studio, always go to the garage, because you will never get that opportunity again, and it will push you as an artist. You will grow. You will be grateful for it. If you have that studio big production, you don't have anywhere to go after that. You just don't. Like, so always go the beginner route.
I respect that. I really respect that, and I'm not shook that you said that, because I really do. I get that from you. I feel it's not always about the big and the fancy, and there is a lot that artists can learn at home. And let me tell you something.
Yes.
I recorded with my first ever time recording was in a building, pretty much like a little bitty fish camp. It had the dude's bed, a dresser, a little bitty night table, and everything was recording right there. So I went from that, and then it was, you know, a learning experience. Yeah, not the most, but then I went to I started recording with William, that runs Brethren Production, and I honestly feel it really gives an artist that taste of hunger. You know, you want to do better. You want to, you know, step up your recording game.
Absolutely. And an appreciation when you get to hear.
Exactly. And that is where I see, you know, a lot of artists, you know, come right out the gate and just boom, you know, thousands of dollars right up front. It's like, wow.
It breaks my heart.
It really does. Me too, because it's not always about it.
It's not about how much money, because I mean, you could spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 and then get an album that you wouldn't put like on at a family barbecue, let alone like on radio.
Exactly.
So it's not about the money. And thankfully, I had the blessed experience to see Daniel's studio go from that strip mall to this gorgeous like giant with a, you know, the recording booth, soundboard. He is killing it now. So I was blessed to see him come up and do amazing things. So grow. If you find somebody who is like you in the hungry stage where they just want to make it work, grow with them. You'll never regret giving someone an opportunity. Right. Because as artists, that's all we want.
That's all we need.
Give me an opportunity. Give me a shot.
Need, right. Before we go on to a different subject, I have to touch back on the studio part, because you said that the studio you went to didn't look like a studio.
No.
I've noticed that. So have you ever heard of Patchwork? Patchwork is out of Atlanta. Major studio in Atlanta.
Really?
Would not believe the records cut out of Patchwork. It's like they have Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj,
What?
Cardi B, Lloyd. All your 2-day hot artists have been in Patchwork. I promise you. Even back in the day, Whitney Houston and stuff. So it's like you pull up to this building. Wait a second. This looks ran down for one. What is going on?
You're checking Google, be like,
Yeah.
is this right?
For real. The first time we went to the studio that we went to, we're like, this building is at the back of a building. It's got graffiti all on it. Are we at the right? But I learned later on that they try to be so incognito because they don't want to draw the attention. Like, I have been taking on the role. I've took on the role of the host of All About the Artist. Of course, season 1. And one thing that I learned was not everybody's a songwriter. Not all artists are songwriters. And one time somebody said something to me. They said, "Hey, you have to stop showing such a reaction when somebody says they are not a songwriter." What is your encouragement to artists that don't songwrite? Because I honestly feel like artists who don't songwrite are just scared of, sounding crazy or...
Yes. Thank you. That is my philosophy. And it's same thing. And people always laugh at me when I say this. Singing too. It's just, it's your fear talking. Yeah. I think everybody, and then I learned that I wasn't that true, that right. But don't let the fear of, putting the words together stop you from writing down your experiences. No one will tell your story better than you do.
Exactly.
I could never wrap my head around artists who would take their experiences to other people to write and to put into words. I'm like, you can do it. Why don't you give it a shot?
Right.
Start off honestly with silliness. Make it all rhyme.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely make it more conversational. That would be my advice to anyone who's trying to get into songwriting, or go back to your journals, diaries, all of it. Poetry that you might have that you wouldn't even think could be a song.
There you go. And what you said, you're kind of like lost when they take their work done. And that's not in a mean way. That's honestly because you could do it yourself. And one thing that I just wish I could embed in every up-and-coming artist that's just now getting started out, that's not songwriting, your first song is not going to be like your third song.
Right.
And your third song is not going to be as good as your 10th song. It takes a start, You have to start somewhere. So I do thank you for, saying what you said about to the artists that may not songwrite. And a lot of the times it is fear. It is fear of this is going to sound corny, It's my first song. This don't make no sense.
And you don't have to be super vulnerable on the first one. It doesn't have to make everyone cry.
Right.
Just be real. Just be as real as possible, and it will evolve, like you were saying. It will, and you'll be so surprised. Like when I wrote the song I forgot the title of my own song. My Next Mistake.
I do that all the
Goodness
time.
gracious. I didn't think I had that kind of song in me.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like catchier pop, but it happened. That's the way the song unfolded. So yeah, you evolve as a songwriter all the time with life experiences and things like that. So just don't think too much about it. Just
go into it.
Get a pen and start writing.
There we go. I love that. I wanted to say that so much, but it's like, I can't. It's gonna look terrible on my behalf. But not that I would mean it in a hurtful way. It's just I really encourage everybody to songwrite. If you're gonna be an artist, songwrite. Pick up a pen. It may take you 10 years. It may take you 5 or a year.
Exactly.
Pick it up. You never know where it can go. I have had an absolute honor sitting here getting to talk. I feel like we have been here only 15 minutes. Before I do let you go, I do have one last question, and this is back to Southern Lights. To anybody who may not have entered last year, who may have seen it and said, for some odd reason they didn't do it. For some reason they didn't do it. If you had just a few words of encouragement, what would you tell those at home that, wanted to enter Southern Lights that didn't? What would you say to those to give them a little words of encouragement?
I would definitely say, don't think about it. Don't hesitate. Get up, get your phone, get your computer, whatever you need, and hit record. Just do it, because you never know where one video can take you. And take risk. Be bold. Do not let the thought cycle in your own head hold you back. Just be bold.
Well, Amy, I tell you what, I've had such a great time.
Oh,
I
me
wish we could
too.
sit here and talk for another hour. I really do. It's been an honor just to get to cover this with you and to
Aw.
get to know a little bit more. And now that, we have sparked up a artist friendship, so there we
Yes.
go. And congratulations once again
Thank
on
you.
your super duper work throughout the Southern Lights competition. That is truly amazing. And to those at home watching, this is Miss Amy Russ, and we have had such an awesome time. You are now seeing the beginning of season 2 to All About the Artist. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and hey, be sure to tune in next time, because we got more artists coming to sit in that same chair. It's me, ThaBoy. We're out of here.
Bye.